Okay, welcome all again. So today we are going to discuss about pragma. This is the word many people have heard and many people may not be have heard about these things. But sometime in the interview, the question is asked, what is a pragma in Oracle Pl-Sql? So in Oracle Pl-Sql, pragma is nothing but also called as a pseudo instruction. Refer to a compiler directory, or you can call it as a hint. It is to be used to provide an instruction to the compiler. Okay. Now, first you understand what the pragma is, because only understanding is the important part, because you can answer this question when the pragma is asked. So pragma is a pseudo instruction. I'm sorry for this. What do you mean by the pseudo instruction? Pseudo instruction is nothing but a hint. Now, what do you mean by the hint here? Let's take a simple example. Everybody know what the compiler does. Compiler has some pre-instruction available to us, and it compile the program according to instruction what it has. Simple. So when we say that declare, so it know that what is the meaning of declare, correct? So that means compiler has its own rules to compile the program. But let's say we want to compile a particular program in a different way. So how compiler will know that? Because compiler has a set of rules available to it by which it is compiling the program. Okay. Let's take a real life example so it will be easy for you to understand. Let's take an example of okay, yes, let's take an example of a marriage. Okay, now in a marriage, let's say there is a one person we have appointed for distributing the laddus. Simple. So he has been already have a set of instruction कि आपके सामने से जो भी जाए उसको 2 लड्डू देना. So उसके सामने से जो भी जाएगा तो उसको कितने लड्डू मिलेंगे? 2 लड्डू. You will take a laddu and that person will pass. But let's say there is some person who is special for you, and that he or she told you that laddu are very delicious. I want little more. So what you have done, you told him that you go to the laddu wala and tell him that you are my special guest. Now this special guest will be the hint for the laddu wala. Correct? Whoever will use this special hint will get a 5 laddus. And you have already informed the laddu wala कि अगर कोई आपको बोले कि वो मेरा special guest है तो उसको 5 लड्डू देना. Now, according to the set of rules, whoever is passing in front of him, he should be getting a 2 laddus. But let's say that special person went through that and he says, he or she says that I am this person's special guest. As soon as he heard that, he gave a 5 laddus. So now that particular special guest, can we say, is nothing but a code word for laddu wala, and that is only considered as a pragma, called a pseudo instruction. Until somebody is not passing that instruction to him, he will get only the 2 laddu. But if somebody pass this special thing to him, he will get the 5 laddus. That is a special hint is there. So you can relate with this. In Oracle also we have a pragma also called as a pseudo instruction. Refer to a compiler directive. That means we are giving a direction to the compiler, or we can call it as a hint. Now, one thing you have to remember, the directive restrict member subprogram to query or modify database table and package variables. Now, meaning of this is simple. who give the instruction. It is only limited to that. If 5 people are going, and among that 5, in between you have your own special person. Out of that 5, 4 will get two laddus, but this person will get a 5 laddus. So that is limited to that only one person, even if it goes in a group. So you can say it is always restricted to that particular member or a subgroup. Simple here. Now, pragma directive are processed at the compile time where they pass necessary information to the compiler. They are not processed at the runtime. अगर उस लड्डू वाले ने पहले 2 लड्डू दे दिए, उसके बाद वो और 3 नहीं देगा, आपको पहले बताना जरूरी है. So always pragma resides in a declaration part. So in the declaration part, it declares that this particular program has some specific instruction, that is a pragma, right? So that's why pragma reside in a declarative section of a Pl-Sql block. So I hope that theoretically the concept is clear, what the pragma is. Now, in Oracle, how do we write a pragma? Now, for an example, I'm creating a function or a procedure. Let's say the procedure. Mostly it is used in a procedure. Then I say create or replace procedure. Procedure name is. Okay. It's an error here. It's a 2 is here. It's 1 is. Then we write a pragma. Pragma means what? That specific name of the pragma. So that pragma will decide that this program will have a special instruction to the compiler. Rest will remain the same. Begin, your business logic, and end. This is how you can use a pragma in your program. Simple here. Then there are some predefined pseudo instruction that is called the types of pragma. So in Oracle, you have a certain, or you can say 5 types of pragma directive available. First is called a pragma autonomous transaction. Pragma autonomous transaction, and this is the mostly being asked. So this program pragma can perform an autonomous transaction within a Pl-Sql block within the begin and end statement without affecting the entire transaction. Now simply, when I'm using autonomous means what? Only limited to particular that. We say this college is autonomous college. Autonomous means what? Uske rule उस तक ही limited है. That is not going to affect the university. So that's why autonomous. Now, second is called a pragma serially reusable. Simple. This directive tells Oracle that the package state is needed only for duration of one call to the server. After the call is made, package may be unloaded to reclaim the memory. Now we have talked about the procedures, as I told you at that time, that when we execute the procedure for first time, it keeps itself in a cache memory. So next time it executes first. But that memory has been occupied. Now, let's say I'm writing one procedure which is required only for once. That is not required in future at all. So we can use a pragma serially reusable. So it will execute once, then it will remove it from the cache memory to reclaim that memory. That is a serially reusable. Okay. Then we have a pragma restrict reference. So after the Oracle 8i, this is no longer required, but you should be knowing the name. That's why I have kept it here. Then we have a pragma exception in it. We have learned the part of exception. In that exception, we have a certain user-defined exception and certain are the predefined exception. Now let's say I want to raise a user-defined exception, but I want to link it with some predefined exception. So that pragma exception in it is nothing but it is just connecting your user defined exception to a particular error number, or you can say which is already exist. Simple. Then pragma inline. Now in a pragma inline, it is introduced in Oracle 11G. It was not available before that. This directive specify that a subprogram call either is or is not to be inlined. You know the meaning of the inlined? Now let's see. Okay, just give me a minute here. Just hold it. Okay, I'm opening an Excel sheet, so I'll be able to explain you properly the meaning of inlining. Okay, let's say I have created one procedure. Okay, you can see the border. This border is nothing but a one procedure I have created. And here I have created another procedure. So let's say we have procedure 1, and this will be the procedure. I hope you are able to see this. Let me share it again. Okay, I'm sorry that I hope that was not available to you. So I'll just make it back again. This is our Excel sheet. Here I'm creating a one procedure. So this is a one procedure. Let's say I'm creating another procedure. Okay, so we have a one and two procedures. Correct? Now in these two procedures, let's call this as a P1. And we can call it as a P2. Okay, so we have a two procedures. Now in this P2, we can call the P1 as well. Sorry, here we can call the P2. Now this all will execute and return the result to the P1. That will be the job of P2, correct? That code what we have written in the P2 will not have access or will not be inlined with the code of P1. But when you use inline, that will decide that whether this code to be inline to this or not. Now this particular procedure will become the part of this. Not a separate procedure will become a part of this. That is called inlining. Simple. So it will copy the code of this here. So now hence it is copying the code of this here. This has access to this code plus this has access to these variables. That is called a inlining. Simple here. Okay, just go back to there. That is called a pragma inline. Clear? So just go from the one to end again. So it will be easy for you to understand. First is a pragma autonomous transaction, which keep a transaction independent, even if that transaction is a part of any other transaction. Okay, I'll explain you this in a practical form. Then pragma serially reusable. If I'm using a serially reusable, then that particular procedure will be removed from cache memory after executing. So that memory will be free for you. And this is not required after Oracle 8i. Exception in it allow you to add your user defined exception to the any existing error code. And pragma inline is nothing but which is allowing you to inlining the called procedure. So simple here. So simply these are the types of pragma. So out of this, you should be only knowing that this and this. first and second. That's why I kept in the first and second. Now, what is an autonomous transaction first? That's why I'm taking in a detail this here. A transaction which is independent than other transaction, even if it is used in between of any transaction. Now, take an example. Here, I have written certain code. Create table T1 ID number 2. So we have a table which has only one column ID. This is their data type. Create table T2 ID, the column name, and this is there. Then we write a two procedures. And here I say procedure P1. Create or replace procedure P1 as begin insert into T1 values 1. So here we are inserting the value 1. Then we call the P2 here. And then I say the rollback. Simple. So I'm sure everybody know what the rollback does. Reverse what all you have been done. That will be called as a rollback. Now what this we have written in the P2. Let's check out that. Now here, create or replace procedure P2 as pragma autonomous transaction. So can we say that this we have done as a special procedure with a pragma, which is having a pragma autonomous transaction? Then I say begin, insert into T2 second table values 2, and I commit it here and I end. And this procedure is called here. So now pay attention what will happen. First, value 1 will be inserted in T1. Then here, this will be executed. So here it will insert into table 2 as a value 2. Then it is a commit. Then this process is completed. Then we have a rollback as a part of procedure P1. But rollback has a reach only up till the last commit. So अब इसके पहले ही यहाँ पे commit हो गया है. मतलब कुछ भी rollback नहीं होना चाहिए. Correct? But hence it is a pragma. ये commit सिर्फ इस procedure तक ही limited होगा. Will not affect the entire transaction. This rollback will not have a information about the commit at all, so it will reverse this. And this rollback will not reverse this also. अगर यहाँ पे commit नहीं भी होता तो भी इसको rollback नहीं करता, ये सिर्फ इसको rollback करता. That is called the pragma autonomous transaction. Okay. Can we create and see it there? Okay, we'll do it practically so it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so now I'll follow the same what we have explained in the theoretical part. Okay, so I'll create one table. So I'll say create table temp101. I'm creating a table temp0101. In this, we are going to have a column as name varchar 2 20. So we created one table temp101. Created. Same way, I am creating another table temp102. And here also I'm using the same column name. Created. Now if I take the record, select star from temp101. From here, select. Spelling is wrong. No rows selected. There is no record in the first table. Same way, there is no record in the second table. Clear? Yes. Now we'll clear this. So we know that we have a two table, temp 101, temp 102. So now we'll write some procedures here. So we'll say create procedure P1 as, and here we are going to insert a record. Insert into temp 101 values. Let's say we are going to have it here. Okay. Then we will say here calling the P2. Okay, we cannot call because it is not existing. So first we have to create a P2. Okay, so in the we are inserting in insert into temp 102 value 100. Okay, and then I'll say here, and then I say the end of. Now pay attention here. In this, we have not used a pragma. We have not used a pragma. It's a simple procedure. I'll go and copy this. Executed, we got an error. P2 is already exists. Okay, no problem. So if anything already exists, what we can use it here, or replace. Create or replace. So if it is existing, it will be replaced by this. This time we got some errors. And till now, whatever the procedure we have created, we have not got any error here. Okay, so we'll just check what the error is. Show errors. Okay, now anybody who understood what the problem here is? After the as we have directly started, we have to have a keyword begin. So we don't have anything in the begin, so we'll say begin. Shift. Okay, no problem. Let me start that again. Give me a second. Okay, so we have to do it again here. So we'll just copy this. Paste. Okay, so procedure is created. Clear? Now we'll create another procedure. In this, I'll just copy everything here. So I'm creating a procedure P1. Insert into 101 and values is Deepika. Okay, and instead of commit, here we will use a roll back. Okay, so now we have created this here. And here, after inserting, we will call P2. So now P2 will insert the Ranveer and this will insert the Deepika. Then we are using a rollback. Clear? Here P2 has a commit and here we have a rollback. Okay, so we'll copy this now. Okay, so now our both procedures are ready, P1 and P2. P1 will insert a Deepika, P2 will insert a Ranveer. P2 has a commit, P1 has a rollback. Clear? So now we'll execute. P1. Now tell me what will be the value in temp 101 and temp 102. Let's check. Select start from temp 101. We have a Deepika. Deepika has been inserted by this and it is rolled back. But rollback से भी कुछ हुआ नहीं. Still the Deepika is there. समझ में आ रहा है ये? And here, if I say 102, Ranveer is there. तो ये रोलबैक का क्या हुआ? कुछ भी नहीं, बिकॉज रोलबैक से पहले ही यहाँ पे P1, P2 में commit execute हो गया था. So now this commit has committed the Deepika also. समझ में आ रहा है? So this commit has affected the both P2 as well as P1. But we want P2 as an autonomous transaction. What is the autonomous transaction? उसका अफेक्ट P1 पे नहीं होना चाहिए. ट्रांजैक्शन वो अलग है, ये अलग है. So now for that, what to be done? Now we have seen here we have to use autonomous transaction. Pragma autonomous transaction. Okay, so we'll make this change there. Let's go back there. So we'll just make a change. So as और begin के बीच में हमको क्या लिखना पड़ेगा? Pragma transaction. Autonomous transaction. Clear? इतना सा ही change करना. So now we'll just do this and come back here. We'll replace the procedure P. Create it. Now what we'll do first? We'll delete temp 101. No record is there. Delete from temp 102. No record is there. Now we'll execute. पहले भी हमने एग्जीक्यूट किया था, अब भी एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे. हो गया. अब लेट्स चेक द रिकॉर्ड. We have a Deepika. And we have a Ranveer for 2 times. Okay, this is just because हमने जो डिलीट किया था उस डिलीट के बाद हमने कमिट नहीं किया. So let's do it again here. You can see that we have a 2 Ranveer, but only 1 Deepika, because next this execution is not inserted the new Deepika here. So just removing the confusion, I'll just clear the screen. I'll delete from temp 101. Then I delete from temp 102. I'll say the commit. Done. Now we'll see the record. No record. No record. Clear? So now both the tables are blank. Now we'll execute P1 again. Done. Now check the record. temp 101 में कोई रिकॉर्ड नहीं है और temp 102 में रणवीर है. Now look at this. ये रोल बैक ने दीपिका को रोल बैक किया, बट रणवीर को रोल बैक नहीं किया. बट इस कमिट ने जो रोल बैक के पहले एग्जीक्यूट होता है उसने दीपिका को कमिट नहीं किया. क्यों? जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ pragma autonomous transaction. Clear? Okay. Now you can try it by yourself also for that, so it will be easy for you to understand. So I hope it is clear. Okay, just it is there with your screen. You can just think on it and create and check it out. Next is called a pragma exception init. So how to use a pragma exception init? Same exception name and error number, which is existing error number. You have to find out and you can use that. So your exception will have that error number associated with that. Simple. So I hope there is no question with the regards of pragma. Pragma is clear. If you have any doubt, any question, feel free to ask in the office anytime. Is it clear? Okay, so we'll stop it here.